Well, we're on the worst interstate in America, I-25. So we're a bunch of hooligans are speeding like crazy to get into the elk woods, but we've probably got 5 hours left driving. Get in when it's dark, but quick grocery stop and get an elk tag, and we'll be ready to go for tomorrow morning. What you doing? I just knew there were more Spartan pics. I just wanted to download it. But I'm kind of freezing my butt off because I don't have enough clothes on. It's cold out here. Drinking some coffee. Gonna head into town to church, and then our first hunt will be this evening. Already heard a bugle. Back that away. They're fired up. Go for it. All right, well, it's gonna be evening number 1, September 5th. Kind of changing up our tactic this year. We haven't hunted early season since Nate killed his cow, 4 years ago maybe, 4 or 5, and we got a little spring / wallow up here. We're gonna be heading up there in about 2 hours with our tree stands, gonna whitetail hunt these suckers.
We've been chasing elk for 5 years now, I believe, and this year we decided to go at it a little differently because the year before, Thomas had decent success hunting with the tree stand over a wallow. And so we thought if we gave it more time doing that same thing, that, man, it was bound to happen that an elk would wander through and we could punch a tag. The last few years, the amount of pressure in the unit has really taken away our ability to do any calling whatsoever, and it seemed like we were kind of aimlessly walking around the mountains trying to find elk, which is difficult, especially for us Nebraskans who only have a handful of years of elk hunting experience. So this year we packed in the tree stands, and we were going to give this wallow like as many days as we could to hunt. And we thought, man, for sure an elk would come and visit it eventually.
Well, we're all set up, and our wind is absolute. But, I know that in a matter of 20-30 minutes, it's going to start shooting down this hill when the thermals switch. And I kind of just leave it in God's hands if our wind's blowing this way, which we don't want it to. I'm just praying that the elk are down below us. I'm not going to stress about it, so pulled the card that was here, and pretty dang good activity. I'd rate it a 7.3 out of 10. Not higher because we haven't had a bull picture, an elk picture since the 1st, and today's the 5th. But the good thing is a big giant bull wallowing right here on the 31st and the 1st. Tons of cows, so there's a lot of activity. I feel confident if our wind can shoot down this hill. We actually already heard a bugle not very far away. Nate's just been messing with his camera stuff, so I haven't responded or anything, but I'm going to be cow calling every once in a while. I'm only going to throw out a bugle if something wants to battle, but I'm excited. Let's get started.
September 6th, we're back up in our tree stand. We got up here like 45 minutes before sunrise. It was nice and dark. It was perfect. The sun just popped over the mountain ridge, so we're starting to warm up a little bit, but not long after we got up here, bulls were bugling. Two different ones. One was like chuckling at us and stuff. But the name of the game is just going to be to put the time in here and be persistent and get up here as much as we can. So we've got this whole week, hoping that something comes and visits this wall. Alright, it's evening number 2. Day 3, September 7th.
Well, a few days into this hunt, we were starting to get a bit nervous. We haven't had any trail cam pictures since season opened. We haven't been hunting it that long. We started hunting it several days after season had opened, and it was amazing to see the trail cam activity absolutely stop. Like, we did not have a single picture of an elk on our trail camera after season opened. So obviously in the back of our minds, we've got two thoughts. One is, man, this wallow is good enough. If we put in time, it's gotta work out. But the other one was, man, maybe the elk have just moved. Maybe with this pressure, they just went elsewhere. So it was almost time to start reconsidering some things after 5-6 hunts of not seeing an elk.
Heard a bugle, maybe a dude, maybe an elk, and then heard some walking on the hillside. That was for sure one of those two. Kind of getting to the point, day 3, not super fresh sign up there. We've entertained just working a different section of this hillside to see if we can find more fresh sign, but we're still figuring out. We just gotta put time into this stand. Something's gonna show up, but check the trail camera. Not a single thing's been there when we were gone, so just a matter of time. Really debating what to do with this setup. It's our 3rd evening. Haven't seen anything, obviously. We've been hearing some bugles, but there's not a lot of fresh sign around. We know that there are elk on this face. So we're gonna at least give it tonight and tomorrow morning, and then see if we're gonna maybe split up or change the attack a little bit. But we're still confident in this tree stand setup. You'd think that middle of September you'd get a bull or some cows to show up to this wall. So the clock's ticking for these elk. They gotta show up eventually. We decided to get up here later. Every time we get up here 4:30, and our wind just shoots up the mountain for the next hour and a half. I think we played it perfect. We got up here 5:20, which I'd love to be up here at 3, but it doesn't make sense to be up here if the wind's just shooting in the direction of the elk. So we got up here and our wind's already pushing downhill, which is awesome. So tonight could happen.
stuff, a little heavier load. We're gonna get up there, spike gambit. We've got all day today, all day tomorrow, and then we're supposed to leave Friday, so hopefully in the next 36 hours we can get it done. Alright, well, this is home for the night. Took us about an hour and 15 to get up here, a little over a mile. The meadows we're working are still, I don't know, at least half a mile, 3/4 mile that way. We're just off this path here, not too far from running water, so this will be a perfect spot for us. We're finally set up in this meadow. We're hoping the last hour of light they'll just slowly feed in here. It's about 50 yards to the opposite side. Hoping they come into range. A guy killed a cow here a couple days ago and said that they're hitting the spot every night. So anticipation's high. Well, it's the end of day 4. We're still up on the mountain, making some gastronome, and took 4 days to spot our first elk. 2 cows and a calf came out at the opposite end of the meadow, went right to the wallow, and they didn't keep working our way. They just turned back around. Gave them a couple cow calls, but they just looked and kept going. So gonna go back to the same spot. We got all day tomorrow up here, so tomorrow's our last full day. Gotta get it done.
Well, we started this day by sitting over this wallow again. Nothing came in, but bulls were bugling around us, pretty far off. One close one that was upwind from us. We decided to go after him. He was bugling pretty hard. His last bugle, we were probably 400, 500 yards away. And we just crept in, gave him a bugle, no response. Kept just easing in super quiet, and just out of nowhere, branch started cracking, and we assumed it was him. I don't know why he didn't want to talk. Our wind was perfect. Can't do a lot in that situation, but now we're debating what to do the rest of the day. Probably that bull might have been on a different wall, so we're gonna go probably sit there for the next couple hours and probably be back here tonight and see if those cows want to come back out again. Well, just after 4, we've just been lounging around camp the last couple hours, trying to kill time. But we are going to pack up the tent, have everything here ready to go. It's right off the trail, so we're gonna hike up, hunt the evening, hopefully kill a cow or a bull, and then all of our stuff will be here ready for us. So we'll be able to get down quick. So just gonna break down the tent.
This was a tough hunt. That final day, we did not see an elk, and we put in a lot of effort. We put in probably the most time we ever have chasing these elk. Full days of sitting and waiting, and it did not pay off in the long run. We had to get back to the families, so another unfilled elk tag, but we are going to be at it this next year again, and hopefully we'll fill that tag.